So last week, the question of neutrality came up in my Reactive Dog Behaviour group. Um, if you've not heard of it, neutrality is a process in which you train your dog to be basically neutral to things in their environment, things mostly other dogs, but it could be people or cars or things like that. And the aim is to try and teach them just to ignore those things in their environment and be more focused on you and what you're doing. And in basic principles, I kind of agree that neutrality is a really good thing. People that have dogs that are reactive to other dogs, it's really distressing for the dog and for you as well. So the aim of having a dog that would just walk past another dog without really even taking a glance would be a bit of a pipe dream. But the question came up because actually I wonder if it's possible for all dogs to be neutral to other dogs. When we think of dogs, we know that they're a pack animal. They're very sociable. They have their own way of communicating with each other. They love to interact and socialize with each other. And for me, the mental health benefits of being able to socialize with your own kind are huge. And actually the 5 freedoms of animal welfare do also say that an animal should be able to socialize with their own kind and should be able to act and behave normally. So realistically, is it fair to expect all dogs ever to be able to achieve neutrality? And honestly, I really think it's not realistic. I think that dogs need to spend time with their own kind. Every dog, of course, is different. Some dogs love other dogs and they have a huge drive to be with other dogs and to play and socialize. So that need needs to be fulfilled. If that need is not fulfilled for that dog, they become frustrated, they're going to become anxious, they'll lose their confidence, they'll not enjoy their walks, they can become reactive. If we think about the way that we responded to lockdown a few years ago, some coped better than others, and some of us are more sociable. We had more of a need to be physically in contact with people. Even for us, it wasn't enough to see people on Zoom or talk to them on the phone. We needed to be in the actual contact of people, in their presence, within and meet them and see them face to face. That was really important to a lot of us, and our dogs are the same. So just seeing another dog walking in the street on the other side of the road or a few meters away and having to ignore their own kind is possibly asking just a little bit too much. And I think if we put ourselves into that kind of lockdown mindset, we can appreciate that for some dogs, that almost would feel a little bit sort of cruel and unkind to expect them to have to ignore a potential new friend. Some dogs, of course, don't really fuss with other dogs. They're not really that interested. They can take them or leave them. And with these dogs, achieving neutrality is going to be a really realistic goal and something that can be done. And of course, there's going to be a huge number of dogs in between those two extremes, and their requirements and needs to socialize will all vary. But you know your dog best. You know what he likes to do, how he likes to socialize, how much time he likes to spend with other dogs. And there's lots of ways you can achieve this. Perhaps you don't need to do it on a walk. Maybe you could take them on group walks, or hire a dog walker that takes dogs in groups and can walk and socialize your dog. The advantage of using a dog walker is that your dog will hopefully, if they are walking in a group, they'll be able to make really good connections with dogs that they'll meet regularly. So these kinds of deep friendships and deep connections are much more valuable than just meeting dogs in the park and having a quick sniff or a little bit of a rough and tumble. These dogs will become good friends over time, and they'll really learn to love spending time with each other. So those kind of deep friendships are really good for their mental health. In all kinds of ways. So whatever your dog may have, maybe they've got separation anxiety or other kinds of anxieties, having a friend, a regular friend, can actually really help with that. So there's a side effect there as well. But if we are denying our dogs from any kind of social contact with other dogs, we have to accept there will be a knock-on effect, of course. So in this case, having a friend that you get to spend time with regularly can be really good for your confidence and your self-esteem. Not having a friend, of course, has the opposite effect. So if we're trying to achieve neutrality in our dogs, we have to find ways to help them socialize in other areas so that they can fulfill whatever it is that they need from other dogs. And however much of that is, whether they're a sociable dog or whether they really couldn't care less, and maybe just seeing one once a week is just enough to keep that sociableness topped up for them. If you are interested in trying to achieve neutrality, of course, the first step is to make sure that they are getting socialized, because that's really important, and they do need to build friendships. They do need to speak their own language with other animals that speak their own language. So once you've ticked that box, then the next step, of course, is going to be using lots of positive reinforcement. I regularly use clickers. I recommend them a lot, and a clicker would be perfect for this, because you can be using your clicker anytime you're in the presence of other dogs. And I actually made a video about how to use a clicker with reactive dogs, and the same process kind of will work for this as well. And basically what you're doing is you're just building up lots of positive associations with your dog looking at you, rather than your dog paying attention to other dogs. You'd start at a distance, and as they get good at that, then you would reduce that distance, and you'd be asking them to do things that they already know, maybe sit or down or look at me. A sit stay or a down stay would be the next level to that. So if they're not sure of those commands and you want to do that, then that can be your homework for now. Get those commands really well polished so that they're very good at them, and then start introducing them onto your training while you're out for a walk, your neutrality, that's a hard word to say, isn't it? Your neutrality training. So I hope that's kind of answers some questions. It's not obviously going to be easy for everybody, and quite often I suggest that if you can get them to be calm around other dogs, then possibly that's a really good compromise. But if you really are interested in neutrality, now you know how to do it, but do make sure that they get their socialization stopped up from somewhere else, either a dog walker or planned visits with friends or daycare or whatever it is that you choose. Have a good day. Take care for now. Bye bye.